You know that trash you throw out every day? Ever stop to think where it all goes? Well, today we're going on a pretty incredible journey. We're going to see how something we all make, waste, can go from being this huge environmental headache to, believe it or not, a source of clean energy. So how does that even work? Let's dive in.
Okay, to really get a sense of the scale here, let's start with this wild fact. In a country like India, the waste sector alone is responsible for about 20% of its methane emissions. That is a lot. And as we're about to find out, not all greenhouse gases are playing the same game. Methane is on a whole other level. And look, this isn't just a problem for one country. It's a global challenge. But the cool thing is, it has a surprisingly elegant solution.
All right, so let's dig into the core of this, our rotting problem. It sounds gross, I know, but it's important. When we toss out organic stuff, food scraps, yard trimmings, farm waste, most of it just ends up piled high in a landfill. And as it just sits there, buried, it starts to break down and decompose. And that process releases a really, really potent gas.
And that gas? It's methane. Now, we all hear about carbon dioxide, right? CO2 is kind of the poster child for climate change. But methane is like its superpowered cousin. Over 100 years, it's more than 25 times more powerful at trapping heat in our atmosphere. So what does that mean? It means tackling methane from landfills is one of the fastest, most high-impact things we can do for the climate. Like right now. But what if we could stop that gas from ever reaching the atmosphere? What if we could actually capture it and turn it from a problem into a solution? I mean, really, what if we could give our trash a second chance to be something useful? And that's where we get to the really cool part, waste's second life. This whole thing is powered by a pretty ingenious biological process. And hey, this isn't some sci-fi tech from the future. It's happening as we speak, and it's all thanks to some tiny, very hungry microorganisms. The technology behind it all is called anaerobic digestion. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, I know, but the idea is actually super simple. Basically, you take all that organic waste, you put it in a big, sealed tank where there's no oxygen, and you just let these little microbes go to town. They eat the waste, and as they digest it, they produce this super valuable gas. The analogy of a giant mechanical stomach is perfect. It's basically nature's own recycling system, just scaled up for us.
And the whole process? It's this beautiful self-contained loop. You start by collecting all the organic waste, step 1. Then you feed it into the digester, that big mechanical stomach we just talked about. Step 3, the microbes get to work breaking it all down. Then you capture the biogas they produce, and you can use it for electricity, heat, even as fuel for cars. And the best part? The leftovers, what's left after the microbes are done, is this amazing nutrient-rich biofertilizer. So literally, nothing goes to waste.
Okay, so theory is great, right? But let's see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to take a trip, virtually, to Cuddalore in Tamil Nadu, India. We're going to check out a biogas plant in action and really dig into not just its promise, but also its challenges. And here it is, take a look. This facility takes in all the local waste that would otherwise just be rotting in a field somewhere, and it turns it into something called biocompressed natural gas, or bio-CNG. We're talking about a clean-burning fuel that can power buses and trucks, created straight from trash. It's the perfect, practical example of everything we've just been talking about. Now, let's break down the numbers, because this is where it gets really impressive. Every single day, this plant is taking in stuff like 15 tons of animal manure, waste from local sugar mills, and regular old garbage. And every single day, what comes out? 2.8 tons of clean vehicle fuel and a whopping 13.5 tons of organic manure for farms. You're watching a liability literally being turned into multiple valuable assets, day in and day out. And the benefits don't just stop at energy and fertilizer. This is huge. During the planning phase, one of the biggest questions from the local community was, what about jobs? And the project's response was clear. It would employ between 12 and 18 people, with the preference for hiring locals. So you see, it's not just an environmental win, it's a social and economic one too. It's building up the community.
So if this technology is so amazing, if it creates energy, jobs, and fertilizer, why aren't these plants popping up on every corner? Well, this is where the incredible promise of biogas runs headfirst into the hard realities of money and, you guessed it, bureaucracy.
The whole problem really boils down to this financial gap right here. So the Cuddalore project, it generates a financial return, an IRR, of about 9.5%, which, sounds okay. But here's the catch. An investor looking to put money into this kind of project expects a return closer to 14.6%. So without some kind of subsidy or incentive to bridge that gap, the project just isn't financially attractive enough for private investors to jump in. The numbers just don't add up for them.
And then, on top of the money troubles, you have the bureaucratic maze. I mean, just look at this list. To get a biogas project off the ground, you need site clearance, environmental clearance, a consent to establish, a consent to operate, permission from the district, a special license for explosive safety. It goes on and on. You can just imagine how every single one of these steps adds more time, more cost, and a ton of uncertainty to the whole process.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. These hurdles, the money, the red tape, they aren't just an issue in India. This is a global story. So, what's the secret sauce? What does it really take to unlock the full potential of biogas and make it a serious player in our energy future?
Well, when you look at the countries that have actually succeeded in rolling out biogas in a big way, the answer becomes crystal clear. Research shows that the single most important factor for success is strong, supportive government policy. We're talking about official government programs that certify this stuff as renewable energy and then provide the financial and regulatory support needed to close that profitability gap we saw earlier. The government has to be in the game.
And these barriers are pretty much universal, no matter where you are in the world. First, you've got to secure a steady, consistent supply of waste, the feedstock. That can be tricky, especially with seasonal changes. Then, you need access to all the specialized equipment and, just as important, the skilled people who know how to run it. And of course, there are the high upfront investment costs. These are the practical, on-the-ground problems that good policy really needs to help solve.
Which brings us to this final, crucial question. Every single day, the mountains of waste we produce are getting bigger, and they're pumping a powerful greenhouse gas into our atmosphere. At the same time, we have a proven solution that turns that exact problem into clean energy, local jobs, and rich fertilizer. The tech is there. It works. So the real question isn't about the science anymore, it's about us. Can we really afford not to invest in waste's second life?